All right, hello and welcome to my pre-market live stream. And let me just let Discord room know I'm here. Okay. All right. So what I would like to do today is to go over some of the option flow that I find interesting, especially in light of some of the pre-market movement that we're having. So let me just go ahead and jump in here. And I'm actually going to start with the alerts today and just kind of go through some of those. So one that catches my attention is low. And essentially, if you were playing this, you were playing it in sympathy to the Home Depot earnings. So let me see here. See what Lowe's is up to. Okay, so you can see Lowe's is up 271, and playing earnings obviously is a kind of pure lotto situation where you're just even with some conviction, you're kind of just gambling, right? So, but when you do have some optimism about a particular sector, and there's a stock that runs kind of parallel to it, you can often play that. And the thing about alerts too, you don't really have to enter them the day that they pop up. I do have a video on alerts. I'll put it in the description of this one, just talking about how I kind of evaluate those. When you're into the flow on the various other tools, you'll sometimes see the alerts before they happen. Maybe not a particular strike, but a stock like AMRS I've been talking about for a long time. It's starting to show up here. Some of these buyers with this is a sold put on it. But anyway, one of the approaches you can take to playing these alerts is quite simply to wait for it to go up 10%. And that is, maybe the simplest rule, because once they go up 10%, they do tend to go up more. Now, your entry, of course, is always crucial on options. So you want to make sure to enter on a pullback or, a good spot. But the main thing is that these are not buy signals. You do tend to want the implied volatility to not be too crazy. So under 100 would be good. Like this Carvana alert here, IV 255.07. I'll probably make a video on implied volatility at some point, but you want to enter when the implied volatility is low, and then it goes up, and that's going to increase the value of your contract. If you enter when the IV is just crazy like this, what happens is if the price flattens out a bit, your the value of that option contract drops a lot faster. Okay, so other things here. I tend to look through the alerts to see if I can kind of see a story taking shape. And obviously, this is sort of after the fact a bit, but the algorithm was pretty bullish on Chinese stocks, and they really kind of shockingly went crazy today. So you can see SE up huge on earnings. Bidu, Baba is up nicely. JD beat earnings as well. And then, of course, you get Neo and XPEV, Pin Duo, or however you say it, Tiger, Billy, Didi, and Futu. So all of these are across a range of different sectors. Baba is consumer cyclical. SE is a video game company. I guess they'd be communication services. Of course, Neo and XPEV are EV stocks, PDD as well. Tiger's financial services, as is Billy, and Futu's financial services. But I actually I keep all these together in my assessments and evaluations, just mainly because they do tend to kind of run together. And on the whole, that run they've been on has been down for a long time, and their declines have outpaced the broader market sell-off that we've seen. So that that creates an opportunity. You can see that there have been some pretty recent spikes and signs of life, and as we dip back down to this zone, the charts are favorable again. So this run that we're seeing on these Chinese stocks might not be a kind of one-time thing. And full disclosure, I did play puts on JD, and those are about to get fried. But I went really small. It was just an earnings position, and I did it based on option flow, and I was wrong, which is fine, because if these do go up, I'll just trade the upside and make it up that way. I prefer the day trades over the overnight stuff in general anyway, just because you have some more control over when you want to get out of it. So let's see, if the market does want to go risk on today. I think I saw an AMC alert. Yeah, here's AMC, 1250C, 2 weeks. So what does AMC want to do? Bees and I in our Discord room, we did actually put AMC on our hot list. Hot list is a collaboration where we take the favorable option flow that I find against the technical analysis that he has, the system that he's developed called RTL, and we kind of put those together, and we divide these up by sector. Energy did really well yesterday, and we also had weed stocks too. So especially Clever and GrowG had a phenomenal day. And AMC here, we can see it's up 3% pre-market. It's been making some very, very significant upside moves over 1250, and then it's been giving that up. So we're going to see if it can get something and actually sustain it. If you do want to play AMC, going to 527 contracts is going to be a little safer than playing weeklies. IV at 148, pretty high. That's not actually that high for AMC. It can go much higher. So if you get in on it and it has a big move, you'll be able to take advantage of that. Here, a fairly large whale. This is something to look at in the alerts as well. 614,000 shorting Oxy. Oxy as a short candidate is would be so just because of So here's the hour chart, and we can see what Oxy's done. So this is my line on Oxy that I've been playing for months. That I don't know when we're going to see this again. I own some, so hopefully never. But it's been reliable. So $57, and now we're in this new zone, this new paradigm. And what is Oxy going to do up here? That's kind of the question. And oil in general, as we look through it, let me go to my live flow alerts. Okay, so let's see some of the recent recent activity on Oxy. Okay, so on 513, we do see some anticipation here of Oxy pulling back. They were wrong, but 516, fairly bullish. Here's a sold put at 55. So that will be interesting to follow. And let me check some other oil stocks here. Oops. All right, so we got Devon. Not a lot in the live alerts. I did have Devon watch listed yesterday, and the activity on it was bullish. I'm going to take a look at what. Oops, this one. Take a look at what the energy sector is doing more generally. Yeah, Devon is up quite a bit. ZOM a little. BP. This is actually a pretty huge gain for BP for pre-market, over 2%. It doesn't typically move quite that much. CLR is a smaller oil company. The reason I like to trade this one when oil is hot is because it lags a bit. So rather than chasing something, you can get in, and I might do a contract 3 weeks out or something, and just kind of try to catch the move of the sector. MRO is very good for cheap options. They had their dividend day today. I've talked before about that. That can often lead to a flush in a stock, but not always. And yeah, and then PBR is a Brazilian oil stock that has been pretty good to trade. You definitely want to keep an eye on natural gas. That UNG is fairly likely to try to test $30, just based on what I'm seeing. So might pull back some, but outlook there is pretty good. And then the smaller cap oil that has been running pretty well. You have rig over $4 starts to get a little bit interesting. And if I go in here to the flow dashboard, I would almost guarantee you that we're going to see rig in here in the mid caps. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so a couple different rig contracts show up here. We do have a weekly at 450, but we get the heavier volume in some in the money leaps and out of the money for August, and then up to 550. Can rig go test 550? Yes. So this would mean essentially that rig would attempt to retrace these massive gains it had in March. Definitely possible. Rig it trades as an energy stock. It is a they do offshore drilling contracts, especially ultra deep water environments, and so they're a kind of support company for oil companies that are doing drilling. So that's what they do. SD is another stock I like. Not much volume. Premarket Tell is one to keep an eye on. So if you like the small caps, these are some that you can look at. And then you get into the to the pennies, and this one, I'll kind of explain what happened here. So they had an offering, and when a stock has an offering, it tends to have a big drop like this. So we're all the way down to 42 cents. And I had actually been playing this from 75 to 85 cents to a dollar several times. And now it's going to be kind of interesting to see how when, and if it recovers from this. I think it will. This is, at open, going to be interesting. A potentially low risk scalp if it does get a little bit of relief. You might be able to catch a 5-10% move to the upside on it, but it certainly could dip farther. I would be very cautious if it went below 40 cents and stayed there. So just keep that in mind. Other aspects of energy. I talked in previous live streams about uranium and how that was starting to turn a bit, and that has come to fruition a bit, and we see CCJ up large pre-market. Some of the smaller ones that were flat yesterday, UEC up 7%. So uranium is certainly, I think, back and will be playable for the next few weeks at least. Some in financial services, I think that a few of the more interesting stocks. One is Lemonade. So Lemonade, when it goes under $20 lately, especially if you can get it, down here is kind of extreme, but the zone that I used to play on this is back here. And let me do the day chart. Okay, so you can see, Lemonade, the past couple times that it's gotten under around $20 has been good for a bounce. So we got a very large bounce here in mid-March that was sustained. We had a smaller one here, and now that it had that huge dip on earnings and kind of sold off with the market, I mean, there was an opportunity to get Lemonade at $16. I didn't take that. The selling pressure was just kind of too much. I'd rather wait for it to reestablish something. But if it holds $20, you can see what this stock is capable of. And if we go into like intraday analyst on it, and see if we can find anything interesting here. So you can see that a lot of the most active chains intraday were certainly bearish, and not entirely surprising given that it was down 8%. But what I would say is that these two contracts are interesting to me. 617, 24, and 30. You map that onto the chart, 24 and 30, it can do that. So here, like this last run, it didn't quite get to 24, but sort of challenge that. And then 30 is sort of the top end, I think, for Lemonade for now. It could certainly get into a recovery and start to fill some of these gaps. Be kind of a bumpy ride back up, I think. But who cares? What we want is that move from 20. And what I'm looking for is from 20 to about 24. If I have some contracts that have some time and I want to leave a couple and, just chance it and see if I can get a bump to 30. That's fine. But okay, so that is kind of where I sit on lemonade. And what I would like to say about this too is, I look at this list and obviously there's all this red. It isn't just bullish bias that leads me to say, oh, look at these. Look, the whales are after these. The volume, in open interest isn't anything spectacular here, but these are kind of my anchors that I want to see today with lemonade, and I might trade it today. But I want to see volume on these particular contracts start to pick up. And then there's this one too, the 2250. So anything over 20 up to 30 in June, those are the contracts that I think are going to be the most significant and the ones I would probably trade if I were to get into this. Lemonade is also good for shares, and I'll probably have some shares in it as well. Okay, so that is one of the ones in financial services that often gets my attention. Upstart, obviously had this really dramatic drop on earnings. It's gotten back into this kind of $38 range. So what were the whales doing with Upstart yesterday? Well, one thing I noticed is that when the price gets around here, it's $37. We did see a big spike in calls around there, and big push at close, kind of mixed bullish and bearish volume. Most active chains yesterday. Seeing these numbers, especially the ones that approach 10,000 in volume, being higher than the open interest, that's promising. And this really is a different kind of trade than lemonade. You saw me talking about lemonade and talking about June contracts, and here I'm looking at weeklies. So Upstart, very volatile. It is prone to make really dramatic spikes, particularly around open. And one approach you can take to Upstart is if you get one of these spikes and you get the RSI just going crazy up over up over this level here, kind of off your chart, should be 90, I guess. Then you basically have an opportunity to then short it. Now you can see that if you did that, you got to be fairly quick. But I mean, if you were to try to catch it up on this wick up here, and it is going to pull back, and then it pulled back quite a bit, you probably want to just go ahead and get out here. I mean, this is a very fast trade, or it comes back up and you're going to get burned. And it potentially, I mean, it could shake you out here, and then you saw it did actually dip again. So if you want to wait for the market to settle a bit, the first 30 or 45 minutes, you saw it spike, come back down, attempt again. And I would say that the way I might trade this is if it fails to break these highs here and starts to struggle, that's a good short opportunity. On the other side, you saw it dip down here. I would testing this pre-market low. I probably would not enter it here, just because there was kind of a lot of uncertainty yesterday. Stocks ran so hard Friday that you kind of didn't know what was going to what was going to occur. So this definitely, I mean, there is a retrace to the downside. So might not want to do that. But if it does test that level twice, gives you that kind of double tap, there is some potential to catch it on the upside again. And and going into it, the flow is mixed. So I wouldn't go into it with an idea that, oh, this is just going to go up. I think today could be a different story because the indices are just flying this morning. And congrats if you swung any calls overnight on that. But so we could have a really solid, what I'd call like a risk on day where tech is really strong. And the stocks that are going to stand out on a day like that are some of your fintechs like Upstart, Affirm, SoFi, Square, PayPal. And your larger banks will get some recovery as well. BAC is one that I'm looking for this to make a move towards $40. That's a thesis I have that I'll talk more about later. A little safer to trade than some of the fintechs. Your profit might not be as big too, so it's a different kind of risk reward paradigm there. Okay, so that kind of sums up where I'm at with some of the sectors. I'm interested to see what oil does today. I think tech could have a pretty good day. You might target stocks that had a steep sell-off yesterday to see if they can get some momentum. Like Twilio around $100 is very intriguing to me, and it's a stock that you can see, like many, is way down. When Twilio got into this zone, I recall this very very specifically. When Twilio got into this 264 zone, I was kind of contemplating going long on it, and that was in late December, before we kind of knew the extent of this bear market. Fortunately, I did not, but I definitely like it more now to trade. The options are cheaper, and if tech wants to reverse, then we easily could get back into this channel here, 125 to 180, and I'll just be watching the option strikes on it into the summer to see see that and see where I want to go with it. So I'll be looking at tech today. I Lemonade, Upstart for sure. Also interested in Coin and Beyond Meat, and also have an eye on uranium. So that's kind of where I'm at going into the day. I want to see how the market reacts to these big pre-market gains. If ideally they might give some of those back and actually give a decent entry. If they just start to fly and I miss it, then I'll just wait and see what happens later in the day. Okay, so that'll conclude my pre-market stream. I made the decision to also stream market close. So the last 45 minutes of the market, so from about 3:15 to 4 o'clock Eastern, I will be streaming as well, and you can get that link on my channel. I'll put it up on Twitter as well, and the way that that's going to work, I'll be looking at the price action into close, and also just kind of giving you a preview of what I saw in the option flow, and that's what helps put my list and my notes together. So you can be looking for that as well. Okay, so thank you for attending. I really appreciate it. And have a great day trading. And those of you who are going to attend, I'll see you at the closing stream. And those of you on Discord, I will be on there today and look forward to seeing you. Thank you.